Go.
Here is the instructional video for Black Tag Triage by The Dichotomy.
Sponsored by Monster.
Alright, here's the intro riff. So what we're doing right there is we're starting on a power chord on the A string, 7th and 9th fret. And it's kind of like a hammer on, pull off, hammer on. And it's all in the area of 9, 10, and 7. And then on the next run, you're dropping your your middle finger down on the 8th fret right here on the A string. That's the first one. Second one. So from there, it's gonna move on to the part where the second guitar comes in. So it's played for a certain amount of time. You'll hear that on this CD. So here's the next part of it with the intro, starting at the intro. So on that bridge, all I'm doing is doing a power chord on the end of that riff, and then dropping that middle finger on the 8th fret on the A string. So the only thing that's changing after this part comes in is that you're hitting the E string open with it, and then you're hitting this little jazzy chord, which is on the 8th and 9th fret, A string and the D string. So it goes like this with the open. So you're doing the same riff again, and then the last chord you're hitting is going to be at a higher pitch, which is going to be on the D and G string and the same position. So it gives you that same chord but a little higher. So moving on from that, you're going to run into the next riff, which is going to sound like this. So that's played 5 times, the first one being the last beat on the previous bar, and then it's repeated again after that for 4 more times, and the riff is just right here on the 8th fret and the 7th fret, and it has a slide up and slide back, or slide down and slide back up. So you're going 8 to 7 and then sliding back to 8. Then from there it's going to move into the verse riff, and there's a little bit of a difference in the bridge on this one going into the verse. So it's going to go like this with the bridge. So what's going on there? It's just the verse is pretty easy. You're on the 8th fret, and you're just doing doubles on that. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Real easy, and then there's a bridge, a little quick scale right there. So what's going on here? You're on the D string, and then you're pulling off from the 8th to the 7th, and then you're going on the A string from the 8th to the 7th, and then you're going back to the D string, doing a 10th fret pull off to the 7th fret on the D, and then you're coming back up here to the 8th fret on the A, back to the 7th fret on the D. There you go. From there, it's going to go into the pre-chorus. So I'm going to go ahead and play some of the verse and go into the pre-chorus. So that's it's the same riff that's played in the beginning of the song. We're adding a harmonic in there. And then from there we're going to go into the chorus. So I was playing the pre-chorus. Of course, that's played, I believe, twice. Just double check on the CD. And that harmonic is at the end, like on the last beat of the last bar, before it repeats. And I kind of had a little stutter there, but just to kind of show you that where that harmonic was. And then you're going to go into the chorus, which is that last riff that I played. Open E, bar chord on the first, and then it's a open string chord right here, the A and D string. These are all bar chords, and then you're just kind of doing like that blues scale, running it down from the 5th to the 7th. And then you're doing a bar chord on the 5th on the D and G string, and bringing it back up to the 7th on the A and D string. So it goes like this all together. And then the next part is, so you're doing those bar chords again, you're starting on the 7th, and you're working on the D and G string. That's the scale right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's open, the first one, and then coming down on the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 9th again. So let's run that together. And then at the end you're just doing this 1, 2, and then a 1. Now the second time around, do it 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. Now 1, 2, 1, 2 is right here on the 10th and 12th fret on the B and the E string. So the first one goes, and the second one is, and that's pretty much the gist of the chorus. From there it's going to go back into the verse. I'll play it one time through and go into the verse to show you how it sounds. So there we go. That's most of the song right there. There's a couple more riffs we're going to have to learn. So basically what happens is once we get to the second chorus, there's going to be a break in the middle of the song, and I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to that. So that riff is the same riff that is played as the intro part in the beginning of the song. And it's just done in a clear tone. So there's a lead that's played over top of it. And after that, it goes back into the distortion. And I'm going to play that riff next so you can see how that's done. So we kind of go like this. We go from the clear tone what's going on here is we're sliding down to the first and second, third fret area, and basically on the A and D string, you're doing these bar chords again on the second and third fret. It's very quick, but what's going on is it's open, and then you're doing a hammer-on pull-off, and then back down to a hammer-on from the second to third. So it's open, the second fret, hammer-on pull-off off the third, and then hammer-on back down on the third, and then pulling off back to the second. And then that last little roll is it's a hammer-on pull-off, pulling off of the second fret, and then hammering back down on the second fret. So together it's like coming up to the first fret on the E string power chord right there. And then you're doing a power chord on the A string, same position. So right there is the bridge. We're just kind of like doing that same hammer-on pull-off pattern. And then you're kind of just ending on the first fret, ending on the second fret, and then ending on the third fret power chord. Just like that right there. And then it goes back into that verse riff. So together it's going to sound like this. And it runs through that for I think a total of 8 measures or bars, let's say, and from there it's going to go into the closing riff, which is going to sound like this. I was on the wrong spot to begin with. It's on the 9th fret to the 8th, or I'm sorry, the 10th to the 8th to 7th fret. And then it goes from the 5th to the 7th on the end of that riff. Then it closes out with a little bit of that intro riff with the open E in there. That's it.